Okay, start of a new video. This one is for my Mark II Jaguar, and I'm doing some re-veneering. I've already done a lot of re-veneering on the wood, and it really was my first attempt. I've never done veneer before, so that was quite interesting. I screwed up a few times, and I did some good things. And now I'm happy enough to say that I can continue to do the rest of the wood. As you can see from these two hockey stick pieces which go around the rear doors, it's chipping off. As you can see there, it's just it's not good. So what I have to do is take it all off, and you will note the grain goes this way. So I have bought this, which is veneer, and it's actually on paper. That makes it a little easier to handle, but you have to be careful with it because it is extremely thin, so too much sanding is not a good thing. Obviously I've never done these two pieces before, so we'll see how it goes. On the edge here is actually just the wood. It is not veneered on that edge, it is only veneered on the face. And once I strip it all off, we'll see how good the wood is. It seems to be pretty good, and one of the things I shall be using will be this heat gun, and I'll show you how I do that. Hopefully it will be of help to you. As you can see, it had already been nicely polished, but unfortunately that probably will get damaged when I remove this, so I'll just have to sand it down. I've got to be careful not to burn it too much, otherwise it will show through, and we will see how it goes. One other thing just to show you, it's a little premature, but this here, this Aqua Coat clear grain filler is brilliant stuff. I've used it on my other parts. When you want to get that smooth glass-like finish, you put a coat or two of varnish on to actually get the sealing of the wood, and I must admit I've used this mini wax fast drying polyurethane. It is so much better than this particular one, which I only use for sealing. I don't use it for a final. And then once you put two or three coats of this on, then and you sand it, then you put this clear filler on, and then let it dry, and then sand that down. That way you end up with a very smooth finish, and you do it 2 or 3 times to actually get out the pits that are in the grain. So you hold it up to the light, see what you can see, and where you see shiny bits, where you've sanded it you still see shiny bits, that's a hole. So then you put some of this clear filler in there. It's a long-winded process, but it's really worth it. You get a lovely glass-like finish. Alright, without further ado, I will now start to strip off the rest of this veneer, and we will see how it goes. Okay, I'm just attempting to take some of this vinyl off, and the glue appears to be pretty brittle, so the strip is coming off quite nicely. It's a long, laborious job, and I've got a nice sharp blade in this, and you have to be careful because you don't want to dig into the wood behind it. What I've done in the past is use the heat gun to soften the glue, so depending on how it is, you're going to have to make that decision whether you need to use the heat gun or not. As you can see with my nice sharp blade, just a little bit of a twist, the veneer is coming off, and that's doing that without me damaging the wood behind. But you do have to be careful because it's as I said, a new sharp blade, and you don't want to damage the wood. Alright, I won't bore you any further just watching me scrape this off. The next segment of this video will be the cleaning, which is just a basic sand, and then we will see the preparation of the new veneer ready to be installed. Okay, and we'll say good night for now. Alright, as can be seen, I have now removed the veneer, and I must admit I'm a little concerned because this appears to be somewhat warped, but until I put the car back together I won't know whether that's good or bad. So the next thing is to get this veneer on, and what I'll have to do is lay this out and take it as far as I can, and then from there see how it goes. I've not done this before, so what you're seeing is me trying to do this as I go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a cut-off line so that I can join in the next piece, and I think that's probably a good place there. So what I will do is draw here, and I will allow more than I need, and just by simply following this line that will give that to me. And also on this side, again allowing much more than I really need. So there's the piece I need. I will then cut that and fit it to this. I'll give myself a little bit of extra leeway here. It's easier to trim it off than add it. And if you're noticing this piece here, that's where it was joined, but the grain on the other side you wouldn't notice. So we'll see how this goes. The next bit I would do will be to cut that out with a pair of scissors, glue it up and attach it to the substrate. We'll see how it goes, and we'll show you what's next. I mean, you don't need to see me putting glue on there and sticking the wood, but I'll show you it once it's on. Okay, I have now cut the piece ready to put on here. Just gonna line it up and make sure there's a little bit of excess there, excess, and I'm going to mark a line on here so that I know where it should finish. Now I've got a couple of pieces left, which I doubt I'll be able to use this piece, but this piece I might well be able to use, but I've got to then keep the grain going in the same direction down here. Now that's going to be interesting to say the least. So the next thing I'm going to do is glue this up, and you need to clamp it. You need to put a number of different clamps on there. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to look at it before I make the next video section to see if I need to do it with a piece of MDF and clamp it to that, or whether I will just use the clamps. I'm thinking with a piece of MDF is going to be best, and if that's the way I go, I will show you. Alright, I'm just going to glue this on now, and just to let you know, this is the glue I use. It's called Tight Bond 3 It is one of the best glues I've discovered. So let's get that done. I want to make sure I get a nice even coat. I will probably put on more than I really need, and that can be cleaned up later. And I use these little sponge brushes because basically they're disposable. It stops me ruining a decent paintbrush. And it doesn't matter if you get a little excess glue, as long as you get a nice even coat. Go past where I need it to be. You can always sand it off. And again, after this is set, you will find that certain areas you didn't quite get it right. The edges will be sticking up, so you need to deal with that. It's not a big problem, it's just one of the things you have to do. And those of you that are watching and say, oh, he's doing that wrong, he's doing that wrong. I'm not a professional at this. I'm just doing this so that hopefully you find it of interest. And maybe if I do something that you don't know, maybe it'll be useful to you. Just watch me screw up, that way you don't have to. Alright, let me just wipe that off of the edge. And the same there. Alright, now I'm going to stick this on here. And this is where I had my mark, so I'll just line that up. And just gently press this into position. Okay. And run my finger along it just to hold it in position. And try and get the air out of it. And then what I'm going to do, and to be perfectly honest, I don't know if it'll work, turn it upside down, place it here on this piece of board, and I'm going to clamp it. I'm going to do my Jed clamp it. I got these from the local Ace Hardware store. They're pretty good. They're not super powerful, but they hold things in position. And I will be putting a lot more clamps on than you're going to see right now. Actually, let's do that. Why do I do that? It pushes the air out in that direction. As I say, these aren't the most powerful clamps, but they're good. I like them. Now the other clamps that I'm going to add, sorry if this is making you giddy guys, these are super duper ultra expensive Harbor Freight clamps. I think they were about 99 cents each. Again, they're not super powerful. That's not what you need. You just need something to hold it in position. And they're cheap and easy. They're like me, cheap and easy, okay? And you can stop agreeing with that anytime you like. So you just put all these clamps on. Hopefully the video's working okay, as I can't see what I'm recording, which I've mentioned in other videos that I've made. And if it's a problem for you, sorry. That's all I can say. Okay, so that's too far in, so we will just pinch it on the edge. And as you can see, they don't hold it really tight. I think, in fact, I'm going to change that clamp because he can reach deeper. And then I'll put one of these up in here. There, how's that, guys? Everybody happy with that? Now, as I've got two more clamps left, I'm going to use them. You can't have too many clamps. As my old woodwork teacher used to tell me. Gosh, I bet he's turning in his grave watching me do this. Oh, there you go. Alright, so there it is. It's clamped. Leave it to set. I'll probably leave this overnight, and then tomorrow come back and do the other piece. Probably take me 2 or 3 hits, and then I will move on to the other side. I will do another video to show this when I take it off, so that you can see how it is, and then once I've got it all on, I'll trim the veneer down and hopefully make a half decent job and show you that as I go. Okay, that's it for the moment. One thing I didn't mention that I should have done is, obviously when you're clamping this you want to make sure it's flat, and then as you can see I've added a few extra clamps now, and one thing to check on is if you scan down with your eye, you'll see the glue just beginning to seep out. Not a tremendous amount, but just beginning to seep out, and that is a good indication that you've got it nice and flat and that it will stick properly.